What's up, everybody? Welcome into episode 6 of To The Show We Go. If you haven't got a chance to check out episode 5, we had Rob Bradford on, Mr. Baseball Isn't Boring, WEI Red Sox beat writer, all around great guy. So if you have not checked out episode 5, please shoot on over. But today we're back to the players now. This is our fourth player we've had on since we started this offseason. So, Noah Dean. How's it going today, Noah?
Good. How are you guys?
Very, very good. Thank you for joining. It's I was telling you off air a little bit, but you were a referral from Mr. Hunter Dobbins. So I guess the only I'm assuming in the lower minors there might be more redheads down there. I just don't know of yet, or you the only one.
Um, I want to say I'm the only one. I could be
Okay.
leaving someone out, but the only one I think so.
All right, cool. I just had to check because I know I got Brandon Walter at AAA and Dobbins now at AA. So it's cool. But yeah, I wanted to kind of get on into it. This was your first whole year in the Red Sox system. Your first full year is done, and I guess just talk about it. Just how did it go for you? Like what stuck out to you, and anything in particular you want to talk about?
Yeah. So this year, kind of just the beginning was a little up and down. Starting in the starting role was a little different from being in college, going out there for 15 pitches and just calling it a game. But um, some takeaways that I think that are pluses are like going out there proving that I can go multiple innings. That was a little if going into this season, but I mean, like I said, a little up and down, but got some good takeaways. First pro season, can't can't complain about it.
I've noticed that there are a lot of pitchers in the Red Sox organization out of New Jersey right now. Between yourself, Justin Hagenman, who they just traded for, AJ Politi, Joe Jakes. What's going on in Jersey right now? That's bringing in making all these guys into professional pitchers.
Hey, Jersey's a powerhouse. um, I think Jersey has a couple good places that produce very good players. I know I've played for like the Niners, and the Niners they've produced good players. Right now, I'm with BPC, and they have a couple pro guys. So, I mean, really, it's just you don't get a lot of, I guess, I want to say clout out in Jersey. So you just want to go out there, work hard, and make a name for yourself.
Do they? I was joking with. There's a new draftee, Trenter O'Donnell. He's down from Texas. They call him Big Tex. He's massive, 6'7". But
Oof.
I was kind of joking with him. I'm like, hey, I think in spring training, I remember hearing from Chase Shugart and a couple other guys that there's like a Texas side. Like there's a ton of Texas guys. Are we gonna have a New Jersey thing going on where it's like you guys are all like on one side of a locker room down in Fort Myers?
I don't know. You might have to separate it between North Jersey and South Jersey. So
Oh, I had no idea there was a rivalry.
no, I'm kidding. I
Oh,
mean, majority of the guys come from North Jersey. I mean, I don't know specifically where like all the other guys are from, but I know there's like a handful of guys from South Jersey that are I guess are in the pros.
and so
Did you grow? Did you grow up a Mets fan, Yankees fan, Phillies fan, Red Sox fan? There's no wrong answer for this. You can't choose where you were born.
So growing up, I think my first team was the Phillies, and then as I started growing up and hearing like what my mom likes, my dad likes, my sister likes, I guess it was just I know this is a bad thing to say, but it was more on the lines of like rooting for the Yankees and the Phillies because they're both so close that it was just I couldn't really like pick. But yeah, I was kind of dabbling in between them two.
it's not like the worst thing in the world to be rooting for the Yankees. I promise. It's I learned that just being around like the AAA guys and like Ed was saying, there's so many Jersey guys, and I remember Joe Jakes was like, I want to debut at Yankee Stadium so bad because he grew up a Yankees fan, and guess
Yeah,
what? He did. He made his debut at Yankee Stadium, so
yeah.
it was kind of cool. But I kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, early in the season. So you get to your first spring training with the Red Sox, can you kind of like talk about the experience of like you getting to Fort Myers for I guess the second time, because I guess after the draft last year, but I guess with all of the guys there, like what was the experience like just being around the big leaguers for the first time and just getting the chance to take it all in?
Yeah, I mean, going to spring training, I guess like my first spring training, it was a little nerve wracking, kind of just knowing who's going to be there, like what's spring training entail, like all this stuff. But once I got there, it was awesome. I mean, all like the big leaguers, if you got time to talk to them, like being able to like receive some information that they've gone through for like the minor leagues and stuff like that. And then you have guys that are in the same boat as you that are like first spring training, either if they came from a different team or got drafted with me or whatever. It was really cool just to see like what what everyone has going on, I guess you could say, like how everyone can like kind of butt heads to see like get some information about like, all right, so for your first year of college or for professional baseball, what did you do that kind of stood out from other people, and or like if you run into like a hiccup throughout the season, what did you do to get yourself back on track? So it was really just like a learning experience for me.
How did you go into your first professional season? Like, how did your preparation for that go? And how is that going to differ with this upcoming off season? Like, what do you plan to do differently from that?
Yeah, I mean, like I said in college, I was more of like a 15-20 pitch type of guy, and then that's game. But I think for my first off season, I was just throw, kind of just get my arm conditioned to like more throws really. Um, and then obviously when I got to spring training, that kind of helped out because my first live was like 3 innings, and that's the most I've ever done since like high school. So I think just like continuously throwing helped my arm out, kind of condition it. Now for next spring training, I'm just following what the Red Sox give us. More of like a strength side to it. Obviously, some like throwing things, but just trying to get my body 100% for next season.
We've kind of chatted with a few of the guys from this past draft class, and with you being in the 2022 draft class, are you in like your draft class like still close to this day?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mean, I talk to Dalton Rogers almost every single day. I saw Jared Godman down in Instructs. Got to see him. It was good to see him. Alex Hoppy, like all those guys that like Brand throughout the whole season. I was with him. Caleb, like I'm close with all those guys.
It was it was kind of cool to hear about, I guess, with some of the just the new guys, and they're just like, we kind of just all met in Fort Myers and we're meeting in the hallways. And he's just
Yeah,
like, that's just kind of how it is. He's like, I met my roommate as soon as I got to the hotel, and then you meet the other guys like in the hallway, and then you just start hanging out with them a ton. You're eating with them, you're training with them. So I didn't know if it still carried on. I know you guys are just a year out still, but I was hoping it's still like carried on. And you're like, okay, like our draft class is still pretty tight.
yeah. I would say we're pretty tight.
Okay.
Yeah.
As a couple of hard throwing lefties that got taken pretty early in your draft list, are you and Dalton Rogers close? Is there like a rivalry between you two? Like, what's your relationship with him?
No, I mean like we always joke back and forth. Like if he moves up, I'm like, oh, good for you, like joking around. But we're always supporting each other. Kind of just like the other day, me and him were talking about like what he's doing for like the off season, and like kind of just like button heads to see like what works for him. Maybe I can try, or like what works for me, so he can try. Kind of just it's just like a friendly game, really.
And how was Salem as a whole this year? You obviously were there the whole season. I guess like what was like your main takeaways from, I guess, Salem just playing there? And I guess I'm curious about the city because that's like the one stop along the minor league affiliates where I'm kind of like, I've never been to Salem and I don't know if I'll ever make it out there because I know it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So I
Yep.
just wanted your thoughts on it.
I mean, I had a blast just going to the field every single day, seeing all the guys, and like you obviously build like a brotherhood with all of them. But yeah, Salem's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. I mean, there's a couple food places that you can eat. Next to my apartment, there was a place called Frank's. That place was a good like Italian restaurant. But I mean, if you like golf, you'll have the time of your life.
It's good to know.
Me, Caleb, Brand, Ramsey, like we all went out every off day, kind of just go out, have fun. We had a little par 3 course next to our apartment, so we would just pick up, go.
Is that like one of those things? I've learned now that after being in the Woo Sox locker room this past year, I saw golf bags like daily. Brendan Nail was always like, "Oh, like he would always say his handicap, and he's like, I'm this. Like, what are you? Like, that was his like intro to people. Is that like? I feel like that's. I guess golf has always been a part of it, but is it kind of like taken off a little bit since COVID? Probably.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Okay,
definitely.
I was
mean,
curious on that.
I didn't start golfing until I got drafted, but then we went down for spring training, and I brought my clubs. And Hayden Mullins and I and Dobbins, we would always go out and go to the courses down in Fort Myers. And then Dobbins told us that in Salem, there's a couple courses that we get on for free. So we were just like, oh, like I'm definitely not so.
Nice.
Yeah.
So for fans that might not be familiar with your game, what type of pitcher are you? What do you throw, and what do you consider your biggest pitch and like your best pitch, and what are you working on?
Yeah. So throughout this season, I was a four pitch mix. I have a fastball, slider, changeup, and curveball. I would say my go-to pitch is a fastball, just as ride, live up in the zone. But the pitch that I was working on this year was a slider. It was kind of like a new pitch for me. I had one in spring training, like a kind of like a sweeper, and then during the season they were like, "Hey, let's get this to like a true like hard slider that's like 83 to 85." And then we went back to my sweeper, and that's what I've just been pretty much working on. But I mean, I can change up. I can throw left on left, the right. Like I can pretty much throw all my pitches. My fastball is probably my go-to pitch, though.
And I kind of wanted to talk about, I know you kind of touched on it a little bit, just being in spring training and being around some of the guys, but was there any times this year, did you get to chat with any of the rehabbers coming to Salem, or did anything happen like that for you this year?
I mean, we had Frank German and we had Zach Kelly towards the end of the year. I mean, I think it was a little late. I mean, Zach Kelly came, I think, 2 weeks till the season was done, and Frank, I think, was like 3 weeks. So, I mean, like there was a couple questions that I wanted to ask and kind of just get a feel for like what Kelly does or German does or whatever. But I knew they were doing their own thing, trying to go into Salem, do their outings, and then go up. And there's also like 2 weeks left, so I kind of just like let them go. But definitely one thing that I've learned from them is like a routine. I mean, you see them like go out there and like there's nothing different from their routine, which was also very nice to kind of learn because I know like going into pro ball, it was like, yeah, it's different type of breed up there, stuff like that. But I was like, routine is the biggest thing that you can learn to get your body familiar with how much throwing you got or what you need to do for lift or something like that. So that was one thing that I've learned through those two guys.
Did you at all, I guess, back to spring training, did you pick any brains, I guess, on the major league side of the Sox?
I didn't really talk to any of the big leaguers. I mean, they were always separated from us. I mean, when we were doing our stuff, they were either getting ready for a spring training game or they're on a different field than us or anything like that. But like you got to see like we saw Corey Kluber throw, and like Kenley Jansen, and like you could just see like their mindset within that game where it's like once they cross that line, once they cross the lines, it's like it's just game mode. Like some guys go out there and they're like, oh, like let's have fun, like let's just fill up the zone, all this stuff. But like you can see it in their like body, like posture and stuff like that, where it's just like I'm going out there, I'm dominating, doing my job, and that's it. So that was also really nice to see.
So you mentioned that in college you were throwing one inning, like 15, 20 pitches, and then you're done. How was the topic brought up that they wanted to use you as a multi-inning pitcher? And do you see yourself as a starter, a reliever moving forward? What was that whole scenario like?
I mean, there was really no talk about me going multiple innings at ODU. It was kind of just like I knew my role. It was closer, go out there, 15 pitches, like I said. But when I got drafted, my agent told me, "Hey, like you're going to be a starter for them. They want to see like what you can do, multiple innings." And honestly, I would love to just continue to be a starter. That would be ideal because you get to know like when you're going to throw. You can build your own routine around that. Um, and like you can kind of just like prep yourself for that game rather than being like, okay, like I'm in the bullpen, like when can I, or like when should I get ready, or like if I'm up, like all those things that all vary into like kind of like a what if. I really enjoyed knowing what day I'm going to pitch and being able to set my body up for that.
I kind of wanted to talk about ODU a little bit. I wasn't too familiar like with I guess like some guys that were drafted out of there. I kind of looked at it like you guys got a few major leaguers right now, like Yarborough and a few others. But what was it? What was it like playing there? I had no idea it was in Norfolk, by the way. Like
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful town.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had a blast. My 3 years here. I mean, making friends, getting to like enjoy the college experience, and also playing baseball. Like, it was an awesome experience. And then obviously when we got drafted, I was able to get drafted with like Matt Kootenai, Andy Garriola. So like you guys go kind of like on your same journey, but you can also like see how their life's going, and like Kootenai's in high A now, and like Andy dogged out in the Cubs organization. So it's nice to see that like other guys are succeeding too. I mean, I know Hunter Fitzgerald was here last year. He got picked up by the Seattle, and you get to just see like how they're going too as well.
What were you studying there?
Major is leadership, and I'm minoring in cybersecurity.
Oh, cool. That's kind of a cool combination.
Yeah.
Wow. I wasn't expecting cybersecurity. That's a new one. Super important these days, though. Holy cow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm getting fish emails every day. It's hard, but I know it gets a lot more intense than that. But so I guess did you guys go to any like Norfolk Tide games at all?
No, but I mean, my best friend that I met here at ODU, Andre Delatry, he works at the Tide Stadium, and he gets to update me on everything like Jackson Holiday and how they were doing and stuff like that.
I'll tell you what, I was, covering games in Worcester this whole year, and I think Norfolk might have been the most impressive team I've ever seen in like minor league baseball. They were insane.
Yeah, they're good.
It also didn't hurt that John Means, I guess, was rehabbing that day at one of the games that I saw, and he like was throwing a no-hitter until like the 6th inning, but whatever. All right, so I know you kind of talked about like ODU a little bit. So what was like I guess, so you were hurt in 2021, correct?
Yes, I was hurt, but I still played. I had a nerve thing going on in my arm. With my ulnar nerve, when I would throw, it was kind of like stretching out, and I was losing feeling in my pinky and my ring finger. So I had to get surgery for that.
And so what was that? Was that the same surgery that Zach Kelly just had?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like, I guess, like leading up to it? Because I know you just said you were pitching kind of hurt. Obviously losing feeling in your fingers is probably not fun for a pitcher. But what was it kind of like, I guess, like leading up to that decision of just being like, I got to get this taken care of? Like you were playing through the pain, and then what was the flip like after you got it done? Like how was the mindset then after the surgery and the recovery?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was frustrating because I wanted to be that guy that can pitch Friday and Sunday. And with my whole nerve situation, it was not allowing me to do what I wanted to do. I mean, we've tried it a couple times. I was on a Friday, I'd be like 93 to 96, and then that Sunday I'd be like 85 to 87, and it's like just because I can't like feel my hand or my fingers or whatever. So it was very very frustrating. And I think that's what kind of led me to like, all right, I need to like actually like act on this and get it done. And then obviously I got surgery, and it was, I know it's no like Tommy John or anything like that, but still, like, you got your arm cut open, and like you're still like have to trust your arm going like full velocity and everything. But once you trust that, I was just, all right, I'm going out there. I'm just gonna do what I do, throw fastballs up in the zone, and just go. And luckily, it worked out for me.
So just looking at your numbers for the season, lots of strikeouts, lots of walks.
Yeah.
I get the impression you're very difficult to hit. How how do you work on, I guess, like the control part of it though? How do you improve like the strike throwing part so you're throwing it past the guys, but they can't just take the pitches?
Yeah. Well, there's obviously stuff like weighted balls that you can throw, and like picking a spot and trying to hit that spot, and just kind of like repetition on that. It's also just trusting yourself, knowing that your pitches are good and can go in the zone and stuff like that. I think that's one thing during this season that I kind of or I guess in the beginning of this season, I kind of dealt with, kind of maybe giving the hitter a little bit too much credit and being like, okay, maybe my fastball doesn't play at this level, stuff like that. And obviously it does. And I think after All-Star break, going home and kind of just like resetting my brain, going back out there and just trusting all my stuff, like that was the biggest thing for me.
Yeah, I'd be remiss to not to forget to mention like your second half looked like you something clicked for you there. So that's interesting. Like, was it anything physical or was it more mental?
It was definitely mental, I feel, because my body felt amazing. Like, there was no really hiccups or anything like that throughout the season. It was just more on the lines of just trusting myself.
And I kind of wanted to talk about, I guess, piggyback that. So Ed kind of mentioned the the walk rates and stuff. I didn't know in the lower minors, you guys don't do like the ABS or anything yet, correct?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I noticed a lot in AAA this year that, well, it was all across the board. The walk rates were through the roof in all of AAA, and it's they were saying it's because of the ABS and all that. The strike zones are a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Do you have like any thoughts behind it? Like, do you think you're gonna like it? Do you think you're gonna hate it?
Truthfully, I really don't know much about it, so I don't know like really how to answer that. But I mean, what I've heard is like what you said, like the strike zone's smaller, so it's a lot more difficult to get a ball in the zone, and like a ball that definitely is a strike gets called a ball, and that's tough. But I don't know much about it, kind of. So
Yeah, I wasn't too sure. I knew it was the first year in AAA, and I knew it wasn't in AA or below, and I didn't know if they were like talking about adding it. I have no idea, Ed. If you know, I have zero idea. But
I'm not really sure on that one either. I think we're all on the same page there.
I just noticed like it was crazy because they were kind of like, obviously like the ERAs and stuff are inflated in minor league ball, which I think a lot of fans don't realize that, like when they just look at the stats and say, oh, well, this guy had like Chris Murphy had like a 6 ERA in Worcester, but he went up and dominated in Boston. It's like, I mean, yeah, he had like a couple bad outings, but that's going to happen when you're in minors. So
yeah.
But I noticed all the walk rates were above the average from the last like 10 years. ERAs were way up, and it's I don't know, it was interesting. But all right, so I got a question, I guess, going into this off season. So you're coming into year 2. Do you have any goals in mind for yourself as you head to next year, and like what you're looking to accomplish as you enter year 2 in pro ball?
Honestly, I'm just trying to get just stronger. I mean, my understanding of pro ball year 1, I really didn't know what was going to entail, and I did not expect how long a season is, because I mean, college season's or a little bit under half of what a pro ball season is. So honestly, getting my body just stronger, being able to cope with the whole season and all that. That's my number one priority.
So one guy from your draft class that really took off this year was Roman Anthony, and he was in Salem to start the season, finished in Portland. We hear a lot about his bat and his patience and his power, but I think his defense has really surprised people. What's it like having him behind you in center field when you're pitching?
I mean, as soon as you see a ball go behind you and it's up in the air, I had nowhere in the world that Roman was going to catch that. I mean, he's an unbelievable player. I mean, he's got the bat. He won't let a ball drop in the outfield. He's definitely like a good player to have behind you.
And what about some of the new guys? I was curious how like guys like Zanatello and Antonio Anderson and even Christian Campbell, I think, was in Salem for a little bit. But what was it like? I guess pitching in front of those guys as well.
I mean, like Nas and Antonio and all them, they're all good guys. I mean, they came in, they were a little shy at first, but then once they understood like that we're all kind of brothers, they were just like they kind of felt that they can actually like start like talking and expressing themselves and stuff like that. And like when Nas first got there, everyone was like, oh, like he's like the big deal, like all this stuff, and like we got to like talk to him, and he's just an awesome dude, and like it's just once again it's just like a brotherhood. Like once you get into like the locker room or whatever, like you understand how much fun we have in there, and it's very easy just to join right in and have fun.
Who's the most fun guy in the clubhouse this year for Salem?
In the beginning of the year, I would say Dalton Rogers. That kid, you had no idea what was going to come out of his mouth, and he was just so funny the whole time. And then it went Roman. Roman he was a hoot. He could just look at you and you start laughing. That kid is hilarious. And then towards the end, I would have said like, I don't know, maybe probably Mehi. Mehi was hilarious. I had a ball with him. So I mean, there was just a bunch of other guys that just were just awesome.
He's that your Berto Mexicano?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who was your favorite guy to throw to of the catchers this year?
I truthfully didn't have a problem with any of them. They were all solid catchers, honestly.
Have you at all? Dobbins was kind of joking about this early in the season, but when I talked to him, he was talking about Nathan Landry and that he was. I was a good laugh out of there, but there was a thing he said. He was just like, at one point when he got called, when Nathan went up to Greenville, he was the only lefty on the roster. And they were just like, they were kind of like, holy cow, it's like about time one of these guys got up here. It was before Rogers, I think, got there. But there's very few lefties in like the lower minors. Now I know Fogel just got thrown in and a couple other guys, but is there just like what's going on with the lefties down in the lower minors?
I don't know. When we first got to Salem, and I had my start, I think like the second day of the season, our pitching coach walked over and was like, "You know how long it's been since a lefty's pitched on that mound?" Like, are you serious? He's like, "Yeah." And then when Raj got moved up, like I was the only lefty there until Connolly and Fogel got there, and I never really like understood like there was no lefties and all that. But I mean, yeah, I have no explanation for that. I have no idea.
It was so interesting, I guess, because when he told me that, he was just like, dude, when Landry came up, like we were just like, it's about time. Like it's kind of like the same thing. But then I was thinking, I was like, I was in the clubhouse in Worcester and there were 7 lefties on the pitching staff. And I asked Joe Jakes, I'm like, what is up with this? And he said, this is the most lefties I've ever seen in a pitching staff. So
you're just hoarding them there.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was kind of funny because then I noticed as well, like what you said, it was like you were the only lefty after Rogers and Landry went up. Like you were it down there. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Left-handed pitching is always a good thing to have, so that's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
Ed, what else do you got for me?
You pitched in the Cape Cod League in 2022, right?
Yes.
Which team and how was the experience there?
Harwich, and I had an absolute blast. I mean, like the guys that I met up there, I still talk to this day. And the team that I was on, like we had Brock Wilkins. Now he's first rounder with the Brewers. I mean, like we had a bunch of other guys like Drew Conover. He got picked up by the A's. Like our team was just stacked, and I had a ball.
Had you spent much time in New England prior to that? I mean, Jersey's not that far from it or anything, but
I
had
was
you
I was
did
first
you have
time out
much experience? Really?
there. Yeah.
What did you do anything super New England either? Like, what was the most New Englandy thing that you did?
Well, I was only there for I want to say 2 weeks. I was just a temp contract, so I mean I had little time to really do anything. And then after the Cape, I went to the NECBL and I played with the Keene Swamp Bats for a
Oh,
week.
cool.
Yeah, so I mean
You're just making the rounds.
yeah, I mean I was just up there for like 3 weeks in total, but I mean nothing like extraordinary out there like I've done. So
Okay, so you didn't like go whaling or anything like that.
no.
Are you at all? I'm gonna just go out on a limb and assume that you're probably gonna start the year next year in Greenville. I know you probably haven't been told or anything yet, but I guess if you do, say you do get, start in Greenville for the year, are you going to feel, or even all the guys there, are going to feel any pressure about following up what they just did in Greenville this past year?
Honestly, it's a new year. I mean, it was awesome that they won, but there's got to come to a time where it's like you got to hit the reset button, go out there, and just pretty much just keep trying to do what they did this year. I mean, I don't think there would be any pressure of being like, oh God, we have to do this. But I think just going out there, everyone going out there, just trying to do their best. I mean, that's the most you could ask for.
Yeah, it was. I saw a couple of the guys, and I was kind of texting with Landry a little bit, but he was just like, that was one of the most fun things he's ever been a part of, and he's like, I hope I can do it again next year. So I didn't know if there was like pressure there to be like, oh yeah, you got to follow up what they just did past year, but
Yeah,
you guys are all on the same team, so.
yeah.
Are there any big leaguers that you've kind of tried to model your game off of? Were there any pitchers growing up that you really got attached to?
I mean, my favorite pitcher was Roy Halladay. I just loved the way he played. He was just a dog out there. I mean, Mariano Rivera, like he just went out there, dogged out. I don't really like pick a guy and be like, oh, I want to be him. I kind of just want to be my own self. But those are the two guys that really were like the standouts to me when I was growing up.
And you talked at the beginning a little bit, and you're an Eagles guy.
Yes, I am.
Do you got any? What do you think so far of the undefeated season right now?
Oh, I mean, I was watching the game last night. They just dog out. They're so good.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny because the Pats played them week 1 and they played them pretty close, and I'm just like, oh, Patriots are they just took Jalen Hurts and the Eagles to the wire there. Like, this is gonna be a good team, and then 5 weeks later, it's
Nope.
nope.
Yep.
But yeah, so like, what's it kind of like, I guess, in that area right now, like just being an Eagles fan and coming off of obviously a Super Bowl loss, but still very good team.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been home recently, so I don't know like what's going on there, but I have one of my buddies from back home. He works with the Eagles, and he says like the vibe there is just unbelievable. Like he said like you'll have Jalen come in and be like, "Hey yo, what's good?" Like all this stuff, and like it's just the coolest thing ever. And he said like when he goes out, it's just like it's like a movie. Honestly, he's like with the Phillies doing good and the Eagles doing good. He's like the city's just having a ball.
I will say that their park in Philly, for those Phillies playoff games right now, you could argue they're up there with Fenway, like
yeah,
in postseason vibe.
I've been seeing things on Instagram of like when Stott hit that grand slam, I think it was, and like they're just like taking the commentators out, and it's just like the stadium roaring, like that's unreal.
I listened to that a couple times. I'm like not gonna lie, I'm just like, this right here is
Yeah.
what I wish I was there for that, but
Yeah.
It's just good baseball, like just watching baseball. Who do you think takes the World Series though? Like if you had to predict right now, like well, who would you go with?
I don't know. I would just go with the Phillies. The Red Sox were in.
Not a bad pick. Not a bad pick.
But Phillies, I think they have a good chance.
yeah, no, it's it sucks. It does suck that baseball's kind of over up here, but it is fun though to just watch. Like I do like watching playoff baseball, not stressing about it. I think that's also kind of fun. I can just enjoy a good game like that. Like that Stott homer like gave me chills, and I'm not even a Phillies guy. But
I know my buddy was there for that game, and he was like, dude, like I literally got the chills when he hit that, and the whole stadium just went like up and roar. And he was like, my phone, like he was recording, like when he hit it and like the ball was going out, like he was recording it and his phone was literally like shaking. And I was like, that's unbelievable.
No, that's awesome. What about any off-season plans for you? Did I see? I may have peeped your Instagram, but you got engaged?
Yes, I recently just got engaged.
Okay,
congratulations.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you.
How has that been? Have you? Me and Ed are also engaged right now. Ed's getting married.
I'm getting married next month.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
October of next year, but what stage are you in right now? On planning?
Well, right now, I'm back at ODU. I'm finishing up some classes, and she's here taking her master's. So right now we're just living together, just going every day, just normal life.
Oh, I meant like wedding planning.
Oh,
sorry about that.
No, you're good. We don't know yet. We're just gonna see like when she finishes school, when I finish school. We do know she's from Sweden. So we do know that the wedding's probably going to be in Sweden.
That's
cool.
And then we're probably going to come back here and have like a big party. But yeah, that's pretty much all we know.
God.
What's she studying for her master's?
To be quite honest with you, I don't know. I know it's like in business. But
it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, I don't know what my fiance's job is either, to be perfectly honest. I know that it's something in PR, but the details are too complicated for me.
Yeah. I know she's doing a lot of work right now, so that's all I know.
No, I was just curious because I've kind of lived through it a little bit, and I think I got engaged in May, and I think she had the whole wedding planned by, I want to say, end of June. I think we already had it, and I'm just like, how the hell did you like have all that? But TikTok, I guess, is the man's like worst enemy, because she had like, oh yeah, I want these flowers, I want this, and I'm like, all right, I guess it
TikTok
makes my life
easier. Right, this is very specific, but okay.
Yeah, it was tough. Did you have any? I didn't know how to go about the ring thing, because that's also a thing. I guess Pinterest is a huge thing for women these days, and it's just like she had like 40 rings pinned on her Pinterest wall, and I'm just like, holy cow.
Yeah, I noticed that all the rings that she wears all are circle. So I'm like, all right, well, that's what I'm going to go with.
That's smart, man.
I know that I wanted just a circle diamond and some diamonds on the band. And we went to a place in Jersey, and we walked in. I said, that's the one I want. They were like,
smart, man.
That was the easiest thing ever.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yep.
Well, Ed, do you empty in the bench at all? You got any last?
I've got one last question for you. And this is back a little bit to your pitch mix and everything. But I read that at one point the year you got drafted, you were hitting 100 miles an hour on your fastball. One, is that accurate? And two, is that something that you were able to do this year at all?
I don't know if it was accurate. I know we were down in La Tech in our, I think, conference tournament game, and it came up on the board, and everyone like kind of freaked out. But I truthfully don't know if it was accurate or not. This
I'm going
year,
to choose to believe it was.
what's up?
I'm going to choose to believe that it
Yeah,
was.
it came up on the board. I'm not going to argue with it. But this year was, I think I was just trying to find myself. I definitely have it in the tank. But I think this year was kind of just to get my feet wet, kind of just, I guess, understand pro ball. But yeah, I'm excited for these next couple of years of pro ball.
Well, Noah, we took up 40 minutes of your time. Definitely appreciate that. You're finishing up classes right now and everything, so definitely don't want to keep you on all afternoon. But it was a pleasure, man. Sneaky funny. All right, so I know we appreciate the time.
Well, you can tell that to my fiance because she does not think I'm funny whatsoever.
That's just one of those things, man. What I've learned, like since like being engaged, it's like it's just no point to argue with it. Like you think I'm funny deep down, but I guess at the end of the day, it's like she's not going to tell you that just to get you a big head. So
yeah, definitely.
you know,
You
deep
gotta laugh
down
at
though,
her
she thinks
jokes
so.
and just let it go.
Yeah. You know how
I don't know what you guys are talking about. My fiance thinks I'm hilarious.
I must not be in one
Well,
of
you're a
those
lucky one.
relationships. Yeah, but Noah, appreciate the time, man. As we thank you for it.
Yeah, I appreciate
Thank you so much.